I present two broadcast algorithms with bounded size message. These algorithms are designed for dynamic systems. The first algorithm ensures a FIFO order, and the second one ensures a total order. So it is an atomic broadcast algorithm. This work is a joint work with Luciana Arantes and Pierre Sans. Both algorithms are reliable, meaning that the delivered message was broadcast, and every broadcast message is delivered once by all processes and only one time. The FIFO order property ensures that the delivery order of the message sent by a process, let's say P, is the sending order. So if a process PQ send M1 before M2, then every process deliver M1 before M2. The total order property ensures that the delivery order is the same on every process. So if a process P deliver M before M prime, we know that every other process will also deliver M before M prime. The atomic broadcast primitive is a very important block in the distributed setting. It allows to implement important services as state machine replication, database replication, sequential consistency, and consensus. So the design of total order broadcast primitive has been largely studied. To align that fact, let's just to mention the DelphiGo survey that was published 15 years ago. And in this survey, around 60 total order broadcast algorithm was presented. So why to design a new total order broadcast algorithm? In fact, the presented work is designed for highly dynamic message passing. So the communication between processes is ensured by message passing. This is not new. The network topology change. What is quite of new is that the network topology change is not driven by a probabilistic law, and we don't have requirement on this dynamic change, meaning that we can see this dynamic change to be driven by an adversary that tries to put in default the algorithm. So the algorithm has to fight against the dynamics. That is not a probabilistic adversary, but is a deterministic adversary. And on top of that, we don't have requirement on the topology at any given of time. And to ensure to have an efficient algorithm that can be used, we want that the amount of data that is exchanged at any point of time is bounded, meaning that message size are bounded, and also the number of messages is also bounded. So with these two facts, you know that at any point of time, the amount of data that is exchanged in the network is bounded. The model we use to modelize the dynamic graph is called dynamic graph. It's a submodel of time-varying graph. And this quite of simple. It's just a sequence of graph, G1, G2, and G3, and so on and so on. And the only things we require is that the set of vertex on this graph is the same. So here we have a simple example of a sequence of graph, a dynamic graph on 4 vertex A, B, C. And the computation of this model is ensured by synchronous round. During the round I, a process executes 3 steps. It can only communicate with a neighbor in GI. So the topology of the network during the round I is defined by the graph GI. And in the first step, P sends his own message and send the message he has in transit. This message will be received by the out neighbor of P in GI. Second step, P receives message from his in neighbor in GI. GI being the network topology during the round I. Now, with according his own local state at the beginning of the round, according to the receiving message, and according to the local algorithm of P, P compute the state he will have at the beginning of the next round, I plus. But he also compute the set of receiving messages that he keeps in transit. This last action will ensure that the amount of message in transit is bounded at any point of time. An important concept in this model is the concept of journey. The concept of journey is similar to the concept of path in static. A journey is the ability for a process to send a message to another process at a given point of time. So here, A is a direct neighbor of B in G1. So during the round G1, A is able to send a message to B. And if B keeps to in transit this message, C will receive this message with the help of the B. So during the round 4, C receives the message from A sent at round 1. And during the round 5, this message is sent by D. So as there is a journey from A to D that starts at G1 and then end in G5, A is able to send a message to D. So the concept of journey, if there is not a journey from A to D starting at time 1, A is not able to send data to D. So it's not able to broadcast. That's why we require that at any point of time, every node can reach all the other nodes to a journey. In fact, that's the only requirement we have on the dynamicity of the network. What we also provide in the presented work, we study the deliver order because the presented algorithm ensures some property on the deliver order. There is some previous work where a broadcasting dynamic was studied, but in this work there was stronger requirement on the dynamicity of the network, and also this work doesn't study the deliver order and doesn't ensure property on the deliver order. Let's just present the total order broadcast algorithm. First thing is very important. This algorithm we use from primitive of communications FIFO broadcast with termination detections. So every communication is issued by a FIDO FD broadcast and FD delivered. And this FIFO broadcast with termination detection has to ensure that the messages are bonded and there is a bonded number of messages in transit at any moment. How work with atomic broadcast? A process P were to have received a message, a broadcasted message from every process. A broadcasted message toward a FIFO broadcast algorithm. So in fact, the first received message from Q by P is the first sent message by Q, and he know that this message will be the first received message by every other node from Q. So this first set of message, the first received message from every process, the first set, it will be the same on every process. And then in the set of message, the order of delivery of the message in this set is defined by the order of sender identifier. So in fact, the first set of message that is delivered by P is the same as the first set delivered by Q, and so. And then the second set of deliver message by P is the same on another process. And in a set, the deliver order is the same. So, in fact, the deliver order is the same, totally the same on every process. But the algorithm works properly if each process permanently performs an atomic broadcast to avoid deadlock. So if a process P has no data to broadcast, it will broadcast neutral data or empty data called atomic bottom. And this specific data is not deleted, but it will be received by every process. So the total order is a FIFO order because we use FD primitive, FIFO broadcast with termination detection primitive. And also, the delivery order has a local property, meaning that if a process broadcast is ITH data after having delivered the GTH data from Q, then G is smaller than I. So every other process will deliver data QG before data GI. So with the property of FIFO order plus and local order, we have a causal order that was proven by Azilakos and Webb a few years ago. So in fact, the total order algorithm is in fact a causal total order algorithm. What a nice property. But this simple algorithm works properly because we have a FIFO broadcast algorithm with termination detection. This algorithm has to work properly on dynamic splitting. It has to have ensure bonded side mismatch and bonded number of messages in transit. The only requirement we have is that each process has to know the size of the network. And this requirement has been proven to be necessary. And how it works, in fact, at each message sent by S, label is associated. So the ITH message sent by S is associated a label that has a bonded size and that is I modulo 2. And at the reception of the message is delivered, but also now every message sent by the process that are delivered this message contain an acknowledgement of the receiving message. So a message has 4 fields: the data field, the sender identifier field, the data label, but also acknowledgement table. This acknowledgement table has also bonded size because the number of entries is bounded by n, and each entry has a size of 2. A message has another field called update counter, and this counter is just, it will count the number of update of the acknowledgement table during a broadcast. And we were able to establish that during a broadcast by P, the number of acknowledgement table update is bounded by as a bounded value, so we bound the counter value. So clearly the difficulty is that over the time, it will have several send messages that have the same label and similar things on acknowledgement. An acknowledgement of a message sent by C is the same if this message has is the I+3 messages, or is the I messages, or I+6 messages. So to ensure that everything works correctly, we have a strong requirement at the beginning of the broadcast. At the beginning of the ITH broadcast on S, every process has to be ready to receive and to deliver a message that has the label I modulo 3. Quite a simple requirement. Second requirement, every message from S in transit on every process has to contain a message having the label I modulo 1, I-1 modulo 3. And a very strong requirement is that every message in transit from every processor on every node should acknowledge a message from S having the label I-1 or I-2, meaning that there is no acknowledgement of a message of S having the label I. This last requirement is a very important requirement to ensure to detect the termination, but this strong requirement is quite difficult to establish. This requirement ensures that when S receives an acknowledgement from Q having the label I, then Q has really received the ITH message, and he has really delivered this ITH message. Because at the beginning of the ITH broadcast, there was no message from Q containing an acknowledgement of a message of S having the label I modulo 2. So I conclude just to say that we are able to have a causal total algorithm. We ensure that the message size are bounded, and the algorithm is designed with a very large dynamic graph, where the only requirement is that at any given time, every process can send a message, broadcast a message to other process because there is a journey. And the future direction is to deal with dynamic graph and fault tolerance, meaning to design algorithms that can tolerate dissenting fault, transient fault process. Thank you for listening my English.